2, 1. Mr. Speaker, ladies and gentlemen, even if everything that opening says is true, that all of these experiences are valid, we think the harm exists of pushing young people to make this very emotional and knee-jerk reaction and constant pursuit of perfection at a point in which their solution at any point in time something becomes difficult or it becomes hard is to quit. This is the nuance to what exactly happens when the trend of something on social media, something as prevalent and sticky as QuitTok, which becomes its own thing within the sphere of TikTok, becomes so powerful. It pushes young people to nitpick every singular fault of a particular job or company and just leads them to never truly becoming content. The principle my partner pushes is that there is no such thing as a perfect job or a perfect situation, and the nature of labor is that it's actually very difficult, it's stressful, it's inconvenient. That's why it's called a fucking job and not just having fun or playing around. We reject all of this hedonic treadmill stuff that comes as a consequence of people just believing all of these particular narratives and experiences even if it's true, because the common denominator of this is that there's some sort of anger, there's some sort of grievance, whether it be, oh no, I had a bad day at work, this company kinda sucks, I should just leave and go somewhere better, or, oh, something bad happened to me in this company on this day, I'm not happy anymore, I'll be happy elsewhere. So these are all valid, right? And opening debate proves back and forth how there are many diverse realities, but that's exactly the point. Upstream or a priori to all of these complex situations is the principle that work is difficult and you need to be able to deal with these realities if you want any chance to be happy. That's why my partner talked about this idea of contentment and the hedonic treadmill, and how this particular idea of QuitTok just makes it extremely harder to be able to deal with those realities. Before I move on to my weighing, go ahead.
Yeah, look, people who love their jobs won't quit because the QuitTok brainwashed them into. People who will stop also won't quit. Obviously, this debate is about people who actually wanted to quit and have the option to.
Yeah, but the nuance is just because you can do something, man, or just because you want to do something doesn't mean you should, right? Because that's what makes young people kind of susceptible to shitty decisions, because they put their happiness as the forefront of everything, and we think that's fucking cool in debate land and all that stuff. There are visceral realities to life. Like what my partner talked about things like job security and the reality of having to deal with a situation, of which even if you quit because you think it's good, that in itself is also an emotional knee-jerk reaction to that kind of thing, which becomes exactly exacerbated because of QuitTok as a phenomena that normalizes, romanticizes, and sensationalizes this trend of you having to do something. Let's deal with opening government. Opening government talked about this idea of wanting to make change. The example here was about unionizing and being able to lobby for change you want. The simple question I have is, from an individual perspective and from a company perspective, what change happens, man, if you didn't even give a chance for this to happen because you bounced from the company, you quit? And if you quit and you're telling other people that it's bad here and they quit because they see all this shit on TikTok, it's the point in which people are likely to have possibly mass resignations, etc., and getting pissed off at this company because of backlash in the name of wokeism. And the problem there is that it becomes an unproductive channel to be able to get the change you want at the point in which you're not even there to be able to push and lead the change. That is to say, someone on the fence who's wait, it's my second week here, it's kind of mid, I don't know what to do, is likely to be fuck this, I'm gonna bounce before I get bonded by this contract because of these things I saw online. So instead of people taking the agency and responsibility to try and make change, they just eventually result to this low-hanging fruit of just having to quit and fuck off because it's funner and better and safer. And we think that the comparative here is that absent this particular trend and rise and stuff, It just pushes people to deal with the reality of the situation in a more productive way. My partner talked about going through official channels, etc. But of course, Gov will be like, well, of course, this is the worst case at the point in which it doesn't work. But we think, again, at the point in which it doesn't work is the point in which you have to like deal with the situation and to be able to like reconcile expectation as opposed to just jumping and jumping and jumping. And that's the problem with young people nowadays, wherein they just keep jumping and hoping that things get better. But the conditioning that happens not just within the workplace but within their own life is that it breeds this sense of like entitlement and selfishness at the point in which they expect everything has to work on their favor, and at any point in time it gets not fun, not cool, not happy is a point in which they want to leave. Sure, POI, whoever raised it, go for it. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, go.
So you said that people should accept their conditions and should ask from the CEOs and managers to improve it. Then what about a matchstick worker who is not given initial safety measures? How will he do that? How will he get that?
Yeah,
Even
like if this domestic worker who is in a very vulnerable situation is able to just like see all of these things, it might push them to make an emotional decision to quit at the point in which that job is very important to them. So what I'm trying to say is that if you want a chance to be able to make change, you have to be able to like deal with the current reality of your situation as opposed to having to like just leave right away. Why are people likely to leave right away if the push from Gov is that, oh, those who don't want to leave won't leave? It's because of the trend, bro. Like the fact that you glorify, romanticize, and push people that it's okay, you should do this is a point in which the threshold and capacity for people to deal with change is just lower. Why are we able to win against our opening? Because we're able to ground it to this idea that whether you are happy or not, whether you find a new job or not, or whether all of these like nitty-gritty externalities are true or not, is the point in which it really conditions you in a worse way to be able to deal with hardship. Work is just a small part of our life, but it's a very important one. Meaning, if we really want a chance to be able to truly be happy, we need to really understand the realities of how things are and that things can be bad, can be good, but we shouldn't just quit at a point in which it becomes inconvenient. And for that, we are very proud to stand inside opposition.